Under $25,000 in 2026, one used Lexus SUV averages documented 240,000-mile reliability with nothing more than fluids, brakes, and the occasional radiator. Another one, same badge, same dealer lot, parked 3 spaces over, averages a $4,500 repair bill inside the first 18 months of ownership. Both wear the same enamel L, both shine under the same sodium lights. And most buyers walking that lot on a Saturday afternoon genuinely cannot tell them apart. That gap isn't a rumor. It shows up in RepairPal cost averages and NHTSA complaint clusters, in Consumer Reports owner surveys, and in the depreciation curves KBB and Edmunds have been quietly tracking for 15 years. The badge is the same. The reality underneath is not. So before you wire that deposit, let's break down which used Lexus SUVs under $25,000 in 2026 are still the bargain of the decade, and which ones are quiet money pits dressed in leather and walnut. Here's the problem with shopping a used Lexus right now. The brand has a reputation that's earned, but it's also generalized to the point of being dangerous. You've heard it your whole life. Lexus is bulletproof. Lexus runs forever. My uncle's LS400 has 400,000 miles on it. All of that is partially true. The early Lexus playbook, overbuilt Toyota mechanicals, conservative engineering tolerances, paranoid quality control, created a generation of vehicles that genuinely outlived their owners. But that reputation is now being applied by buyers and by dealers to every model with the L badge, regardless of platform, drivetrain, or production year. And that's where people get hurt financially. Because under $25,000 in 2026, you're not shopping the legendary stuff. You're shopping the second-tier years, the high-mileage examples, and the models, where Lexus quietly experimented with new technology that didn't always work. Some of those experiments aged like a vintage Submariner with a full service binder. Some of them aged like a polished gray market Rolex with a recased dial. Looks identical from 2 feet away, falls apart the moment a watchmaker opens the back. The lot doesn't tell you which is which. The Carfax doesn't tell you which is which. You have to know going in, so let's establish authority before we dig in. The data behind this breakdown pulls from a few specific places worth naming. KBB and Edmunds for pricing curves and retained value scoring. RepairPal for annualized maintenance averages by model. NHTSA for recall and complaint frequency. Consumer Reports owner surveys for the long-term reliability clusters. And finally, the Indy Lexus and Toyota specialist forums. IHJNMUD Club Lexus, the Toyota Nation Off-Road threads, where people post actual repair receipts and teardown photos. Cross-reference all of those, and the picture sharpens fast. The reliability story isn't about Lexus as a brand. It's about specific engines, specific transmissions, specific cooling systems, and specific models. Years where the company made decisions that either aged beautifully or quietly soured. Here's where it gets interesting, because the under $25K Lexus SUV market in 2026 essentially breaks into 3 engine families, and each one ages very differently. You've got the 2UZ FE V8, the 4.7-liter all-aluminum truck V8 that powered the GX470 and the LX470. You've got the 2GR FE V6, the 3.5-liter port and direct-injected 6 that ran the RX 350 through 2015, and a handful of GX460s. And you've got the 8AR FTS, the 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 that showed up in the NX200T starting in 2015. 3 engines, 3 completely different long-term stories. Think about it like the difference between 3 vintage refrigerators. The 2UZ V8 is a 1970s Sub-Zero, overbuilt, simple, repairable, ugly and efficient by modern standards, but the compressor will outlast the kitchen it sits in. The 2GR V6 is a 2005 Sub-Zero. More sophisticated, more efficient, more electronics. Still genuinely good, but you'd better hope the previous owner didn't ignore the maintenance schedule. The 8AR Turbo 4 is a 2018 smart fridge packed with features, tighter tolerances, demands premium fuel and short oil intervals, and the moment a sensor goes, the whole unit pouts. None of these is automatically bad. But the failure modes, the parts cost, and the patience required to own one are wildly different. Let's start with the 2UZ V8. Because that's the engine sitting in the GX470, built from 2003 to 2009, and in the older LX470. Owners on the specialist forums regularly post these things, crossing 250,000 miles on original internals. RepairPal data clusters annual maintenance costs in the $700 to $900 range, which for a body-on-frame V8 luxury SUV is genuinely low. The architecture is shared with the Land Cruiser 100 and the 4Runner. It's a timing belt engine, so you've got to verify that belt has been done at the 100,000-mile interval, and ideally the water pump and tensioners at the same time. But it's not an interference engine in the catastrophic sense. The cooling system is straightforward, and parts are everywhere because the underlying Toyota truck platform is global. The catch with the GX470 is that this is now a 15 to 20-year-old SUV. The mechanicals last. The accessories, bushings, suspension components, and the rear air spring system on some trims do not. Budget for an air-to-coil conversion on the rear. Suspension somewhere around $1 to $2 grand if you go that route. Budget for new control arm bushings. Budget for the steering rack possibly weeping. None of these are catastrophic. All of them are predictable. We're in a truck that's been working for 2 decades. The engine itself, with documented service, is one of the most reliable V8s ever fitted to a passenger vehicle. That's not marketing language. That's 2 decades of form receipts. Now the 2GR FE V6, which is the engine to know in the RX 350 from roughly 2010 through 2015. This is the V6 that also powered the Camry, the Avalon, the Sienna, the Highlander, and a whole side of the Toyota lineup, which means parts availability is functionally infinite. RepairPal averages put the RX 350 annual maintenance somewhere around $500 and $50, which is dramatically lower than its German competition. The 2GR is a port-injected timing chain engine, so no belt to swap. It tends to be undramatic in service if it's been treated right. Where the RX 350 gets you is the in-between stuff. The 2010 through 2012 cars had some reports of dashboard cracking in hot climates and the occasional torque converter shudder in the 6-speed automatic. The 2013 refresh cleaned most of that up. By 2014 and 2015, you've got what specialists generally consider the sweet spot. The chassis dialed in, the interior holding up, the drivetrain proven. A well-kept 2013 to 2015 RX 350 under $25,000 in 2026 is, by the data, one of the lowest risk used luxury SUVs you can buy. Look for documented transmission fluid service, look for documented coolant change, look for a clean Carfax. The depreciation curve on these has flattened hard. They hold value because they're known quantities. Then we get to the 8AR FTS Turbo 4 in the NX200T, built roughly 2015 to 2017. And this is where the conversation has to soften, because the data clusters are genuinely mixed. The 8AR is a direct injected turbocharged engine, which means it shares 2 of the trickiest long-term wear factors in modern engines: intake valve carbon buildup from direct injection, and cam follower wear that's been reported in some early examples. Lexus addressed pieces of this over the production run, but if you're shopping an early NX200T, you're shopping a first-generation turbo platform for a brand that, frankly, didn't have decades of turbo experience to lean on. RepairPal numbers on the NX200T actually look decent on paper, about $500 a year averaged, but the variance is wider than the RX 350. When these things go wrong, they go wrong in the $1,800 to $3,000 repair range, not the $400 range. Turbo replacement, high-pressure fuel pump issues, and the cam follower concern can each independently take a chunk out of your wallet. The car is genuinely nice to drive. The interior is a step up from the RX, but the underlying mechanical story is a different risk profile entirely from the 2UZ or the 2GR. Now let's get specific about the model years that data watchers flag, because this is where the badge stops protecting you. The early 2010 and 2011 GX460 carries the most public stain, the now famous Consumer Reports stability control issue that triggered a don't buy verdict in April of 2010. NHTSA opened a probe, Lexus issued a voluntary recall, and the company pushed a software update to the vehicle stability control system. The recall work, on paper, fixed it. But the reputational damage stuck, and the resale value curve on those 2 model years still reflects it. If you're shopping a 2010 or 2011 GX460, verify the recall work was completed. The VIN check on the NHTSA site takes 30 seconds. And understand you're buying a car the market discounts for a reason. The RX 450h hybrid from roughly 2013 to 2015 is another one where the data softens. The hybrid system itself, the Toyota Hybrid Synergy Drive, is famously durable in the Prius lineage, but the high-voltage battery pack ages on a curve, and at the 12 to 15-year mark with high mileage, owners do start reporting reduced range, dashboard warnings, and the occasional battery module failure. A replacement pack, depending on whether you go reman or new, can run anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 installed. That cost has come down as more independents service them. But if you're shopping an RX 450h under $25K with $150K plus on the clock, factor a possible battery event into your 3-year ownership math, and the NX200T cam follower concern is worth saying out loud one more time. The reports cluster in the 2015 and early 2016 production. The fix, when caught early, is reasonable. The damage, when ignored, gets into the engine. If you're looking at an early NX200T, ask for proof of regular oil change intervals. Short ones, every 5,000 miles on full synthetic. and ideally an inspection of the cam follower if the car is approaching 100,000 miles. Now here's where the shopper's blind spots really cost people, and dealer tactics turn an okay deal into a bad one. The first trick to watch for is the Lexus Certified Pre-Owned Premium. CPO on a Lexus is genuinely meaningful. It includes a real warranty extension and a real inspection. But the dealer markup can run $2,000 to $4,000 over a comparable non-CPO car. On a 2013 RX 350 with documented service from an independent shop, you may be paying twice for the same confidence. Decide whether the warranty math actually works for your situation before you absorb that premium. The second trick is the deferred maintenance shuffle. A Lexus that's been traded in often has just enough fresh-looking detail work to mask service neglect underneath. Check the timing belt sticker on a GX 470. Pull the transmission dipstick if the car still has one. Look at the coolant color through the overflow tank. Bright pink and clean is what you want. Pop the oil cap and look at the underside for sludge or a milky film. A pre-purchase inspection at an independent Lexus or Toyota specialist, usually $150 to $250, pays for itself within the first ownership year on cars in this price range. That is the single highest ROI move you can make. The third blind spot is mileage psychology. Buyers under 25K in 2026 often chase the lowest mileage example they can find, assuming low miles equals low risk. With a Lexus, that's not automatically true. A 2008 GX 470 with 180,000 documented highway miles and a binder of receipts is often a safer buy than a 2008 GX 470 with 80,000 miles and no service history. Lexus drivetrains reward use. They punish neglect. Read the paper trail, not just the odometer. And one more, the rust check on northern state cars. The GX 470, the LX 470, and even some RX 1350 examples from snowbelt states can hide significant frame and subframe corrosion. Lexus didn't always undercoat as aggressively as some competitors. Get the car on a lift. Look at the frame rails, the rear differential mount points, and the brake line routing. Surface rust is fine. Flaky scale and structural pitting is a walkaway. So let's resolve this by buyer profile, because the right Lexus under 25K in 2026 depends entirely on what you actually need the vehicle to do. If you're a daily commuter pulling 40 to 60 miles a day on mostly paved roads and you want maximum reliability per dollar, then a documented 2013 to 2015 RX 350 is the data-driven pick. The 2GR FE engine, the 6-speed automatic, the proven chassis, that combination has the tightest reliability cluster in this price range, and parts availability keeps long-term cost predictable. If you're a family hauler with 3 kids, you want comfort and you want safety, but you also want it to still be running. In a decade, then the late cycle GX 460, roughly 2014 to 2016 if you can stretch the budget, or a well-documented 2012 to 2013 within budget, gives you body-on-frame durability, 8-passenger flexibility on some trims, and the cooling system updates that addressed early cycle concerns. Verify the recall work. Verify the timing chain area is dry. Verify the transmission has been serviced. If you're an off-roader or an overlander who genuinely uses the truck on dirt and gravel, then the GX 470 is the answer, and it isn't close. Body on frame, locking center diff on most trims, the 2UZ V8, a global parts ecosystem, and a community that has documented every modification you could possibly want. Budget for suspension freshening, budget for tires, then drive it for a decade. If you're chasing the luxury cruiser experience, quiet cabin, smooth ride, leather and wood, soft suspension, and reliability is secondary to feel, then an older LX 470 with documented service or a top trim RX 350 with the air suspension delete already done is your lane. Understand the LX is a more expensive vehicle to keep, but the cabin experience genuinely outclasses anything else in this price range. And if you just want cheap and reliable, the absolute lowest cost of ownership over the next 5 years, the answer is a high mileage but well-documented 2013 to 2015 RX 350 with the highway miles, the receipts, and the boring history. It will not impress anyone at a stoplight. It will start every morning, return 24 miles per gallon mixed, and cost you about $600 a year in maintenance averaged across the ownership. That's the data play. The worst picks across all profiles remain the same. The unverified 2010 or 2011 GX 460 without recall confirmation, the high mileage RX 450 without a recent hybrid battery health report, and the early NX200T without documented short interval oil change history. None of these are unbuyable. All of them require a deeper inspection and a clearer-eyed view of the repair math. So before you sign anything, run the VIN through the NHTSA recall lookup, pull a Carfax and an auto check. They catch different things. Book a pre-purchase inspection at an independent Lexus or Toyota specialist, and price out the most likely failure on that specific model and year so you know your worst case 18-month exposure. That's the buyer's guide process. The badge gets you in the door. The paper trail keeps you out of the repair bay. Drop your shortlist in the comments, the year, the model, the mileage, and the asking price. And the community here, including me, will give you a take on whether it's a vintage watch buy or a polished gray market one. If this breakdown saved you from a bad lot decision or pointed you toward a smarter one, hit subscribe so the next used luxury deep dive lands in your feed. We've got more model by model breakdowns coming, and the goal is simple. You walk onto that lot knowing more about the car than the salesman,